Hello everyone, it is me Mo and this is a new video. Today we will be talking about food. We will be comparing Sudanese food and the UK food. We will have an amazing comparison. We will dive into traditional foods, seafood and desserts in both countries. We will also be discussing weird dishes that exist in Sudan and in the UK, and I promise this is going to be a very fascinating and a mouth-watering video. So let's get started. Our first segment today will be talking about traditional Sudanese food. And obviously, we have to start with the most iconic Sudanese dish, which is fava beans. It is a very loved dish across the country. Slowly cooked beans, usually presented with olive oil, well seasoned, and with feta cheese on the side, and that is just heavenly. And then there is asida, which is a thick dough-like porridge. It's usually made of sorghum or wheat, and it is usually paired with peanut-based sauces, which is called mulahro. It's basically a yogurt stew mixed with peanut butter and dry okras, and trust me, it tastes wonderful. Speaking of peanut butter, there is a famous dish in Sudan called peanut butter salad, which is basically just a green salad made of tomatoes, cucumbers, onions, and it is mixed with peanut butter, usually filled with spices, and it makes a very delicious and a tangy dish. Another standout is agache, which is flavored meat or chicken, usually grilled slowly against flaming charcoal. The flavor, it is really captivating and it's a must to try dish. I'm not gonna lie, this dish is mixed between Sudan and other East African countries, and they're all fighting about its origin. So please don't cancel me, please. Shaya is another very famous Sudanese dish, which is basically grilled or roasted, usually beef, lamb, or goat. Shaya is flavored very lightly to preserve the natural meat flavor, and it is a very known and a very loved dish. It's usually preserved for gatherings, and shaya is very cherished for its very smoky and nice flavor. There are also a lot of other Sudanese stews that I'm not going to be able to include in this video. However, I will be putting video footage of those. Most of them are made of okras, for example, or mulukia or purslane. Now, let's travel to the UK and talk about dishes that I like. The first one is the shepherd pie. It's a savory dish made of minced lamb and usually topped with mashed potatoes, and it's one of my favorite amazing UK dishes. Then there is bangers and mash, which is basically sausages, usually served with mashed potato and onion gravy. It's a very simple yet satisfying dish. However, I make my own sausages because the sausages in the UK are made with bacon. We're keeping it halal in this household. And of course, the UK would not be complete without Cornish pastries. It's a pastry pocket filled with meat, potato and onion, an amazing and a hearty snack on the go. Moving to seafood, Sudan is a very rich country due to its location because we have the River Nile. The River Nile runs in Sudan more than it runs in Egypt. So the Nile is a river in Sudan. Maybe let's fix that. That's first of all. And we have the Red Sea. That's why we have an abundance of fish and shellfish. And that is why there is a lot of seafood dishes. One of my favorite is asida bil samak, which basically means asida with fish, and it's a stew made with fish and is full of cumin, garlic and chili. and one of the most amazing dishes in Sudan, and it's the most dish that I really miss. It is tilapia, which is kind of fish. It's very abundant in Sudan and it's usually captured from the River Nile. It can be presented in many different ways. It can be fried, grilled, stewed, or can be even made into a tagine. Words are not enough to explain how amazing the flavor of this fish is. That's why I'm just gonna stop here. It is amazing and it's a must to try. In the UK, seafood obviously plays a big and important role, however, in a different style. And the most famous dish, and it's my personal favorite, is fish and chips. It's grilled buttered fish presented with thick cut potatoes or fries, usually presented with tartar sauce and mushy beans. And that is a heavenly combination. In Scotland, our both smokies, which is smoked and haddocks, are one of my local favorites and it's a traditional delicacy. Now, let's satisfy our sweet tooth with amazing and fascinating Sudanese desserts. Our first standout in the desserts in Sudan is medida, which is a porridge-like drink, usually made of ingredients like tamarind, millet, or dates. It's usually presented cold or warm, most commonly in breakfast or during Ramadan. It has a sweet, creamy texture and it has an amazing, wonderful taste. Number two, but this is my personal favorite, is basbousa. It is a cake made of semolina flour, usually filled with syrup of honey and usually topped with a drizzle of coconut powder. I cannot tell you how amazing and how tasteful this one is. You just have to try it. And I'm not gonna lie, this is the one that I am a master at making. And then we have basta, which is the Sudanese version of baklava. It's made of phyllo dough layered with sweet fillings like cheese, nut, or cream, soaked in sweet syrup. And it's a very famous dessert, especially in Sudanese gatherings or Eid, which is our holidays, and with a small Sudanese twist in the flavor with local ingredients like peanuts or sesame. And then we have our famous Sudanese karkadeh, and it is not just a drink. Karkadeh is made of hibiscus and it's a red flavored drink. It can be used on its own as a cold drink and can be added to other desserts to give them a twist in the flavor. It's the most amazing and refreshing drink you can have, especially in the warm Sudanese weather. Hibiscus is also used in the bath days in Sudan to treat a lot of medical conditions, as it's believed to have a lot of herbal and medical benefits. And going back to the UK, desserts are very rich and comforting. My personal favorite is trifle, which is a layered dessert originating in England, and it's usually made of 3 layers. The first layer is a base of spongy cake. The second layer are usually whipped cream, custard, and fruits, and the last layer is a topping, usually whipped cream, and garnished with nuts or fruit again. And that is one of the most amazing and tasteful desserts in the UK. Let's come to the most interesting segment of this video and talk about weird dishes, both in Sudan and in the UK. We will talk with slightly more details into those dishes that are considered very unique. They might not be loved by everyone, however, they are still very common in some areas in Sudan and obviously in the UK. Starting with Sudan, most famous one, it is called fasih. It is a fermented fish. Usually the fermentation happens over a few days and then it is made into a stew or can be had directly, presented usually with bread or with rice, and it's very famous for its pungent aroma and very tasty flavor. The second unusual Sudanese dish is called fet. It is a very special Sudanese dish made of raw animal intestine, usually lamb. Usually consists of the stomach and the intestine. They are chopped, heavily seasoned with spices, lemon, vinegar, and usually presented raw with bread. Although I said it's a traditional dish, it's not really that common anymore, and people are realizing that it can be really dangerous to have this dish, and it's not really as common as it used to be. It's considered now a historical dish. However, it highlights the Sudanese tradition of using the whole animal rather than just parts of it. The third unusual, and I say unusual because the way of making it is really unusual, but it's a very common and I personally love it, and it's called abre. It's a Sudanese drink. It's usually made of sorghum dough. The sorghum is usually fermented and then it's spiced with usually cinnamon and cardamom, and usually left for a long time, and then it's shaped into a dough, and the dough is shaped into plate shaped structures. Those are left to be dried, and then when you want to make the juice out of them, you soak them in water. It's very tasteful, it's very full of nutrients, and it's very amazing. It's very commonly used in the months of Ramadan, so you wouldn't find it being used along the year, but you can still do that. However, it's one of the most amazing and one of the most special Sudanese drinks. And in the UK, the weirdness comes with the haggis, which is kind of technically like the fitfit, however, it's baked. It's the stomach of the animal, usually filled with lung, heart, and meat or minced meat. It's usually baked and then it is presented. And as I said, allegedly, again, it's a very tasty dish. I might try it one day, although I'm not sure. And I've mentioned this in a previous video that when I moved to the UK initially, I really struggled with foods. I'm not used to the flavors of most of the foods in the UK, and I wasn't able to cook my own food, so it was a disaster. However, at this stage, I'm really good at cooking maybe 90% of the foods that I already mentioned. I'm used to the food in the UK as well, so my life is a bit easier now, and I'm enjoying tasting a lot of different and new cultural foods, and I really love trying different foods and different textures, and it's always able to make my day. And here you have it, a culinary journey from Sudan to the UK, full of taste and flavors, trying Sudanese and UK traditional foods, seafoods and desserts. Both countries are full of amazing cuisines and a variety of flavor. Which one of them are you going to be trying first? I would love to know in the comments, and if you like this video, please like, subscribe and hit the notification button. Thank you so much for watching this video. It was me, Mo, and thanks again. Don't forget to be kind, take care, and goodbye.